Hello, and welcome back to the latest episode in the Without Us series from Relative Insight. Today, I'm going to be tackling the thorny issue of data visualization tools and the fact that they really are just dashboards without relative insight. So before we get into it, I'm James Cuthbertson, Chief Revenue Officer here at Relative Insight, and I just want to give you a very quick introduction as to who we are, what it is that we do and how we do it before we fly into the actual main topic of data visualization tools. So if you think about us as a root cause analytics tool, so over on the left-hand side are all the different and disparate tools that you guys use in your Voice of the Customer program. Think reviews, case management tools, which might be things like Zendesk, ServiceNow, Voice of the Customer surveys, the main corporates being Qualtrics and Medallia, Contact Center in the likes of Amazon Connect and Verint, Genesys. The idea is that regardless of which of those vendors you spend time and effort and money standing up, we can bring that data all into Relative Insight in an automated fashion. And then we use comparison in order to help you understand what's changing week on week across all of those different signals. And once we're able to get you to the crux of those changes, what it helps you understand is why your key KPIs, be it CSAT, OSAT, average call length, sales, churn, whatever it is you're measuring, why are they going up or down? And we can use all that unstructured text, that amazing gold that you've collected from all your customer interactions to help you understand what's going on there. And then over on the right-hand side, we can do a number of different things with those insights. So firstly, we can push them into existing visualization tools like Tableau and Power BI, and that's going to be the focus of today's webinar. The second thing is we can enrich existing warehousing tools or CRM, think Snowflake or Salesforce, in order to you know what your customers are doing, but now you can also enrich that with what they're saying. And then we can do a couple of other things. So firstly is automated email reporting. So imagine you've got tailored email reporting, which is going out across your enterprise, allowing a benefit for loads of different stakeholders to be able to access the great work that the CX Insights team, CX Analytics team is doing. And then the final thing is we can intersect with next best action capability. So imagine being able to close the loop between finding out insights from your customers and being able to action them and deliver outcomes without a chain of humans having to make those decisions. So that's Relative Insight in a nutshell. So the way that we actually add value across the organization is threefold, right? And this kind of like ladders up in this pyramidal way of thinking. So first is that I would hazard a guess that the majority of enterprises out there and the majority of companies that we talk to are already doing some form of analysis of their Voice of the Customer program. So they'll be collecting data from lots of different disparate vendors, and they'll be trying to make sense of it for either a weekly or a quarterly or a monthly report, whatever it is, for leadership and different operational stakeholders. And the problem with that is that it's highly time consuming. There's lots of humans in it, therefore it is error prone. And lastly, it's tricky to get that message out across the enterprise, and often those insights tend to die within an analytics team, which is a great problem considering how much money and effort's often been put into generating them. So what we can do is we can take that process and massively optimize it by making it more efficient. So we can automate the collection of the data from all those different places. As I mentioned, we can produce consistent reports that are delivered in a consistent format, on time, and in a way that your stakeholders are used to receiving them. What happens is, as a result of this, is slowly but surely, the KPIs are impacted because operational stakeholders are receiving pithy insights that they can act on, that they can test and learn, they can launch business cases around, and that means that the incremental improvements are made throughout the organization as the weeks and months roll by in these reporting programs. And ultimately, at the top of the pyramid, what that does is it drives the KPIs in the right direction, which has a financial impact through improving a customer experience, delighting customers, keeping them, getting them to come back for more. And so that's how we add value. So let's get on to, as I mentioned, the thorny issue of dashboarding tools. Forrester recently reported that there are over 30 million users of the two leading dashboarding tools out there, Tableau by Salesforce and Power BI. That's a great deal of users. A lot of people have bought into this idea of being able to create bespoke dashboarding that suits them and their executive team. And the first thing I want to say is that they are like kind of ubiquitous now. The charts and graphs that people are used to seeing is very much commonplace. And as I mentioned already, like we are also respectful of the fact that time and effort and budget's gone into creating this. Like it's not an easy lift to go about doing this. And also the final thing is like to get teams comfortable with actually accessing these dashboards. Thinking about embedding it into their working day or their working week is also is a big lift. And so like the first thing I want to say is like we absolutely do not want to undo all of that hard work. And I think that both Tableau and Power BI and other BI tools are also very, very useful tools, incredibly impactful and powerful when used well. However, what we want to advocate for is that these dashboarding tools are extremely strong at quantitative analysis. So they're able to show trends work, they're able to show incredible like share of voice, they're able to show like metrics and all the numbers that are driving your business. However, with relative insight, what we can do is we can start to bring in the qualitative texture that comes from all of that unstructured text data that I mentioned at the beginning that is generated every day, every hour, every minute by your voice of the customer program. And by marrying the why, the qualitative texture behind the metrics that you're already very good at measuring, I'm sure, then you'll start to be able to create things that you can test, ideas that you can take into the business and iteratively improve. And I think that CX teams at the moment, CX teams and CX analytics teams struggle to turn these metrics-driven, fragmented VOC visualizations, widgets in a Tableau or Power BI dashboard, into clear action for operational stakeholders and leaders. And I think that the relative insight proposition is that by bringing all of these different data signals and vendors into a single place and outlining root cause around the movements in numbers. So OSAT's just tanking and we know that it's going down week on week, but it's very hard to get a signal clear that allows us to go and test and iterate on improvements. Relative insight is the solution for that. And so, as I mentioned, we are really focused on bringing the why into this already clear what dashboard. So with that in mind, traditional analysis methods are, as I mentioned, labor intensive. And so what we're advocating for is by bringing your relative insight analytics and insights into your existing dashboarding capability, there's a massive amount of time and effort to be saved. We're able to raise the value of the work that's been done by those analytics teams and ultimately, therefore, improve CX and customer satisfaction. Alongside this, I wanted to talk to you about one other capability that's been completely revolutionary, and it is our friend and your friend, good old-fashioned email. As well as being able to report within the dashboarding capabilities you've got. So let's say you've got an enterprise-wide Tableau license, you've got loads of people logging in and looking at it. What we're also able to do is take some of those key insights and create a pithy summary that can then be delivered by email. And so imagine 9 a.m. Monday morning, your exec team logging in, looking at an email, which is, here's the story of the voice of the customer from your hardworking CX analytics team. Click here to dive into your Tableau dashboard. And we've seen that has been really impactful at driving people towards these tools that are often highly curated, loads of effort, but as we all know, it's extremely hard and also an uphill battle to get people to consistently log in and have a look. And so email, we found, has been a brilliant catalyst to get people to actually jump into those tools. I want to talk to you about an example. So for those of you that have been following along with the series, we're getting back to our streaming provider. As you can see over on the left-hand side are all the different disparate data sources that Relative Insight is consuming on a daily basis. We're doing a number of different things, but as I mentioned, what we're doing here is we're enriching an existing Tableau dashboard with a number of different widgets, which explain why particularly CSAT and churn are going up and down. We're also dragging those insights into a pithy summary weekly email, which, as I mentioned in the previous slide, is then driving execs back to log into Tableau, which has been really, really pleasing for the CX analytics team, because what it's meant is a rise in the creation of business cases, a rise in the number of questions that's coming from the exec, and ultimately an improvement in like the kind of test and learn culture across this organization. So we'd absolutely love to talk to you more a little bit about how we can supercharge your Power BI, Tableau, or other dashboarding capabilities. So please do get in touch with Relative Insight with any questions. We'd be delighted to hear from you. Thank you.